Come on, baby. Oh, there it is. Okay, and then let's find me on the page. Ah, there we are.
Such
Look,
an
and I
awful
can
cast.
follow. Yeah, well, it's so exciting, to have this stuff actually work. You have no idea. I mean, when I went to Colombia, one of the things that was impressed upon my mind, one of the better wisdoms, because that was a very patriarchal. Hey, Kimberly, that was a very patriarchal sort of community environment being in Colombia. And so all the spiritual leaders were like these male dominated spiritual leaders. I mean, even stories like they would have us take a bathe in the sacred pool, and the habit was that the spiritual leaders would stand on a ledge over the water, making comments about everybody's size and shape and what looked good and just horrible, horrible things. So, I mean, this was a trip when I went that was fraught with conflicts and drama. But one of the things that was impressed upon me was we have to look at where things are coming from. We have to look at the generations before and how many seasons they went to get there. And so I think about that in technology. Every time I sit down to this camera, I think about this is somehow going through the air, connecting to something else, sending it up to a satellite, sending it back down to Jennie, and then over, to this over there, and then over to Facebook. Oh, you have a visitor.
I do.
So it's amazing to me that this stuff works. And every single time that I'm able to be like, oh my God, it totally worked. Because I can tell you how many times it hasn't worked. And I've been frustrated.
Right. I mean, I used to work for an AV company, and they would try to tell me how stuff works, like, because they were doing high tech stuff. And I was like, listen, I don't even understand how TV works. I just like to pretend little people live behind it and put on plays for me. That's how the TV works. I'm not tech minded.
So it's amazing to me when things actually work. I'm like, oh, look, we're on Facebook. This is exciting. Well, Bella might have forgotten about us, which is okay. I sent her a text, and so she may pop in. Who knows? It'll be fun. She's a fun thing. But before she pops on, we should talk to people a little bit about this 7-week program that we're going to be doing at the end of January.
I know.
I asked Jennie to do it, and she delightfully agreed, even though, I probably kept most of the details to myself. I've just been sort of like, yeah.
I'm still trying to pull stuff out of you to see what the actual plan is, but you didn't write it down anywhere. So it's kind of
we'll see. I didn't. Yeah, it's nebulous. Well, this is what the 7-week program is going to look like. And it's going to start nebulous. It's going to start the last week in January. But actually, this is pretty clear. I actually have it very clear in my head what it'll look like. So similar to this challenge, every week we're going to be dealing with another area of your life, like home or intuition or relationships or spirit. And during that week, we'll have, for the first couple weeks, we'll have 2 calls a week where we'll get together as a group, you and me and all the women who can attend. And we will have it kind of as a sacred circle sort of format. And through coaching and through holding the space and people sharing their stories, we'll all get to work on our own triggers. We'll all get to get these habits of regulating our nervous system in place, because once it becomes a body memory, it's just something that you do. You can do it with a thought. You can be like, oh, that was a negative thought. And it's almost as if your body automatically regulates itself. You don't even have to do anything fancy. So when you get these sort of habits installed in your life, you naturally go to a place of balance when things shift, almost pretty immediately. So every time we get together on these talking circles, it'll be sharing each other's stories, where we're at, what's going on. And through the sharing of the stories, stuff will come up. Things will be unburied. And we can all, as a synergized, loving group, team, you know, because when we're together, when we're connected, it's, the ability for us to heal magnifies versus when we're both. And so healing together in a loving, sacred space where everybody's issues are allowed to come up, but we don't go down the story. That's the thing that annoys me with people. If we were going to just follow stories, everybody's stories, then we would be having this group for the next 400 years. Because to go the route of the story, like the many therapists have they want you to talk your story out, and through talking it out, you know, it'll heal. But that takes a lot of time. And so what Jennie and I will be is instilling in you, getting in your muscle memory while you're also healing at the same time, these shortcuts so that your body naturally regulates. And by working on a different area of your life, like we've done with this challenge, they work together, and it'll clean up a little bit around your home and a little bit around your relationships. And you become like the best version of yourself. I'm not saying over the 7 weeks, you are suddenly going to become the Queen of Sheba. What I'm saying is you will have these habits installed and instilled in your life that it's normal and natural for you to use them to calm yourself down and get level again. It's just normal. So the goal is at the end of the 7 weeks is that you've got a good foundation. It's like a jump start. And then for the first few weeks, Jennie or I will be coaching everyone. So someone will get Jennie and someone will get me, and then the next week we'll switch. And so that we can work with you one-on-one with stuff that's really going on. Now, Jennie's style is she's a psychic. So she's going to work more in that spiritual, energetic, higher power, you know, order of thinking. And I'm going to work in the path of, no, let me interrupt you. And now you need to hold your head while you talk to me. You know, so we have these two different styles. Mine will be a little bit more assertive, but loving, of course, where, you know, no, we got to use these tools. What's the insight? Where are you at? And Jennie will keep reminding you of this higher order of thinking, of this higher, you know, this higher mind that you want to be in training to. And so between the two of us, I think you will get what you need in order to walk your journey, because everybody's got their own path. And I like to say, as a healer, I don't know what you need to learn. I don't know how you need to learn it. I don't know who needs to help you learn it. I don't know in what order it needs to be learned in. I don't know any of that. It's way too complex. My job is to support you in learning what you need to learn in the most graceful way possible, which is the way that's intuitive and right for you, that brings you joy and happiness. So,
and I just want to say, I don't want to know those things about you. I don't want to know your what you need to learn or how you need to learn it. That being said, I believe that you know, universe or source or God or whatever, your guides will be more than happy to tell you. So me personally, it does, you know, it's, you know, even when I do readings, it's like, here's what the universe wants you to know. Now, what you do with it, that's completely up to you. You can do nothing with it. You can think it's bunk. You can think I'm off my rocker. You can think that's really interesting. You can think, wow, how did she know that? Any of those things are possible. And I'm just like the voice that gets you some information, and then what you do with it is up to you, which I think is with everything, with any kind of, you know, healing tool, right? I mean, no matter if you go to counseling, it's the same thing. They're going to give you tools for you to try to figure stuff out. And that's what we're going to hopefully do.
Well, yeah, exactly. And when I talk to people, I rarely talk in an authoritative voice because I'm extremely confident about what I know. But that being said, I talk to people to stir up the conversation, not to tell somebody they're wrong. I talk to get us thinking in new directions. And, I will never consider myself an authority on anyone's life, because I have to be the authority on my life. That takes up all my time and attention. So I can't know those things. I don't want to know them, but I'm going to be pushing buttons, not like in a mean way, but I'm going to be asking questions, and I'm going to be giving opinions, and I'm going to, tell you my point of view, but it never means that I'm right and you're wrong. Not in a million, billion, trillion years. It's only designed to be a space for us to break out of that. I don't trust myself. I need somebody to tell me what to do. To wait, I can decide for myself what works best, and look, it's working. So I love it when people have a different opinion than I am, or tell me that I'm wrong, because it's not about me. It's not about me being right, because I am right. So I don't need to prove it to you.
Right. Let's just assume we already know that I'm right. And then you can try to, figure out if it's right for you. That's different. It's right for me.
Yeah.
So
yes. Yes.
It may not be right for you, but it's right for me.
Yes, exactly. That's totally hilarious. And I'm right about a lot of stuff, whether, just because I care about people. And so I don't look through my own ego a lot. I'm totally upfront about the fact that I know for me what's ego and what's not ego. And so I'm able to, hold that space and laugh a lot, because it has nothing to do with me being right. I feel like I've done my job when someone comes back to me and they're excited because they love their life. I mean, what greater, wow, that's amazing. I didn't need to be right. To be right feels like the smallest grain of sand compared to knowing that you've contributed to someone else's greatness and been a friend and a mentor and a confidant and a connection for them. It just doesn't even compare.
No, and for me, it's not about, when I say I'm right in this realm, not in my real life, in my real life, then I'm always right. And that's a completely ego-based thing. But in my psychic life, when I get, for me, getting something right, knowing something about somebody, for me is proof that this isn't me. It has nothing to do with me, because I don't know anything about you when I'm giving a reading. I mean, most of the time when I meet somebody for the first time, I don't know anything about their life. And when I get information that I shouldn't consciously know, what that is that's proof to me that it has nothing to do with me.
Yes, I understand that.
And then that means that there's information out there that we can all tap into that is universal. And that's what I'm doing. And that has nothing to do with Jennie on the block. That's
right.
That's the information that's out there that I'm tapping into. And let's figure out how you can tap into it too.
Yeah, it's kind of like tuning into a radio station.
Right.
And because it's out there, water carries information around us. We all carry information around us, like in a cloud. And we can tune in to different thought patterns, to different ways of thinking. And we frequently do. Whenever you hear, your uncle's voice in your head, you're channeling him to a certain extent. You're remembering him. He's there. You're tuning into him because you're hearing his voice in your head. So it's learning how to let yourself tune into your own intuition and get the physical blocks out of the way so you can tune into your intuition. And because that's higher power. Your intuition is your connection to something bigger than you.
And I think at some point, like quantum physics will figure that out. Like that's where we're with that it's not, magical. It's just, we haven't figured out the science of how it works yet.
Yes. Yeah. And it's neat that how much science is already validated Asian medicine and shamanic practices and sweat lodges. And I mean, it keeps validating it over and over and over and over and over. So this program, it'll start the last week in January. And for the next week, I'm part of a another experience where people can go and like get gifts and get incentives to start their new year. So that's going to be a week long. And so for the next week, there's going to be a link through that experience where people can get the 7-week program for free. We're going to do it for 40 women. And we're going to let 30 of the women who go through that program to be part of the 7-week program for free. And so I'll put that link. It starts actually today. I'll put that link in the group. And then if you jump on this and you really want to be a part of this program, then you'll be able to sign up for free for the program. If you wait, if you think about it, if you aren't sure, the program is going to be $499 for the 7 weeks. And that's the 2 group calls and the coaching call every week for the first few weeks, and then tapering down, because the goal isn't how much you get. The goal is how much you grow, how much you install these and instill these in your life. Because if you don't need to come together and meet with us because everything's going well, we've done our job. It's not about filling your head with information. It's about getting things cleared up. So keep an eye for that. But after the week, then we'll be charging the $499, and we'll have a total, I think, of 40 spots left. 40 spots, unless we decide to open it up or make it bigger, or come up with some brilliant idea that solves it. But I think for the first time, 40 is a good number. Mm-hmm. And then we'll do this probably every few months if it goes well, and make it an ongoing thing. So this isn't going to be the only one, but this might be the only one you'll ever be able to get in for free. After that, we're going to be like, hey, we got something. And then we'll be able to better reflect the value that we bring with the program. Okay, so that's done. That took like 18 minutes. I want to talk about relationship and what Spirit has to say about relationship, and any kind of conversation around that would be great. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this a little bit prior. One of the things that I find is that most people try to bring in relationships when they're not quite comfortable with their relationship with themselves. And some people do it as a diversion. Some people want to help people. Some people want to bring people up to their limit. Oops, hang on 1 second. I got
to rescue your cat.
1 second. I got my doors cracking open.
Funny. Isn't her house great? She likes to talk about her decor as Polish grandmother. And I just, in the 70s. And so I love your decor. Everything okay? Was it a stalker
I just got a pie delivery.
Oh, no way. Do you know what kind of pie?
Some sort of French apple or something.
Okay, so if I stop by in the next few days, I can have pie?
Oh, it'll be gone by then.
You'll give it to your dad.
If you stop by today, you might get some pie.
Like if I stop by within the next 2 hours, I might get pie. Otherwise, a few days. No, sorry.
Because there's pie for dinner or, dessert. And then there might be pie for breakfast. And then, bring pie for lunch.
Who's the pie from? Who sent you the pie?
My dad dropped it off. He got it from a friend of his from church.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. Yay. Okay. Yay. So sorry. Spirit and relationship. No, that was perfect and fun. Okay, go ahead.
So my thought was that, a lot of us try to get into relationships either for a diversion, right? Because we don't want to work on our own stuff, or we find somebody and we think they're interesting, and then we realize they're not on our level, but we try to bring them up to our level. And I'm super guilty of this one. Because a lot of us want to see the best in somebody else, right? We
healers are thoughtfully, all of us sensitive, loving, nice people. We tend to be like, no, really, you can be a star. You can do this. And then what we realize is it's way more work than we ever expected, and not and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I decided to do this. This was so stupid.
Right. Or we keep giving people chances thinking that they want what we want. And it turns out that, we're all on our own paths. And if you don't find somebody who happens to be on the same path as you, and you keep trying to get them on your path, you're asking for heartache. Because we're all here, very much individually on a path. And it's, it's kind of about finding your tribe and finding the people who, resonate with you. All those things can happen. But, I've even found, like, with friendships where I have friends who are awesome. And it's taken me a really long time to figure out that sometimes I just have to let them make mistakes, though, right? That you have to realize, like, you can see the train coming. It's a horrible train wreck that they're going to be in. You can try to give them advice or make them aware of the train wreck. But the fact of the matter is, nobody wants to be told that they're in a train wreck.
Oh, yeah. And that's what happens when people tell me their stories. I'm listening to their story, and all of us, our bodies love the drama of our stories. We love reliving our stories. We love reliving the pain on some level. We love being there. It's rich and it's full of thoughts and experiences, and it's a lot of fun. And
also sometimes it's also a lot of, when we relive it, we try to relive it with a different ending, right?
Yeah.
And you can see where it was going to go if it would have just gone straight. It would have been so awesome.
Right.
It had such good potential.
Right.
And it just veers off, right?
Right.
And, and this is myself included in this, we make horrible decisions sometimes in relationships because we think the other person wants to grow the same way we do. This is whether it's friendships, whether it's romantic, whether it's business relationships. And it takes quite a while for us to figure out, at least in my case, how to learn and discern what's going to be the best relationship for me, whether it's, an employment job or a relationship with a significant other. I think the older I get, the more discerning I get. And I'm less willing to try to go down to somebody's level rather than have them meet me at my level. And, I think that happens. I think a lot of people, spiritual people, will say that it can kind of be lonely when you get out there, because you then have to navigate people who are truly on the same level as you and want the same things. And a lot of people are very easily satisfied or entertained by not trying to get to any higher levels. It's easy.
Right. It's easier. So many times when I approach a new relationship with anybody, I realize that maybe this person wants to, evolve, and maybe they don't. The fact that they're in a relationship with me means that they might want to evolve. And so it's my job to kind of be authentic and see if they want to really be in a relationship with me or not. Because I'm going to be pulling people up. I'm going to, it's not going to be easy. Their beliefs are going to be challenged. Their ideas are going to be challenged. I'm going to be the devil. I'm going to be ripping their heart out. I'm going to be that person, and I'm going to be standing on the side and say, well, you just need to haven, you just need to do the TAT thing. You'll feel better.
You're fine. This is fine.
It's fine. This is fine. You're fine. It'll be okay. Just do that thing, right? And point and turn around a couple times, and you'll be okay. Really. I am in ways the evil incarnate because of that, because I have so much compassion that I don't want them to suffer anymore. And because I don't want them to suffer anymore, and I have a very kind of a dark sense of humor, because I don't want people to suffer anymore. I'm like, okay, you have to suffer big now so that you can get through this. And I look at a relationship as in okay, we're interviewing them. Do they really want to be on this journey with me or don't they? Even with new clients. And the people who stick with me while I'm authentic are the people who want to be with me. And the people who don't stick with me while I'm being authentic aren't meant for me. My job is to be centered and authentic. And the people who are looking for me, who want to be with me, will find me. And if you're already in a relationship with someone, if you allow yourself to be that higher authentic version of you, some people in, you know, your relationships will have to evolve, and some will evolve with you, and some you'll both decide that it's no one's happy, you know, that this isn't where you need to be anymore, and hopefully part amicably. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that, you know, it's getting, for me, like you said, more of an interview process where you meet some people. I mean, I don't write anybody off right away. Probably there's people that I should write off that I don't. Because, you know, you want the best for people. You can see, again, when you're in a good headspace, you can see the potential of other people. You can see if they would only get this straightened out, if they could only see their worth, if they would only start making decisions and following through, if they would only let go of that, you know, mate who is never going to be the person they need, then they would grow. But, you know, it's like one of those things when we always want the other person to change instead of meeting them where they're at and seeing if they're on the same level. And, you know, they always say, like, if you think it's so hard for, you know, if you want somebody else to change, think of how hard it is for you to change something, and then you can't wonder why they didn't change, right?
Right.
You know,
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for
yeah,
people
like
to
I always think
change.
about like trying to lose weight, right? Like if you know how hard it is to lose weight and how hard it is to make lifestyle changes. Now put that on any other scenario, you know, how hard it is to get past this or move through this or deal with this. If you can't do that, then how do you expect them to now you see the same struggles they're going through.
Right. And if you're not willing to haven in TAT and walk through the fire and if you're not willing to do that for yourself to be balanced in the relationship, why would we judge them for them not wanting to do it? You know, it's much easier for me to tell Jennie what to do, but if I'm not willing to go through my own, then, you know, why would anybody believe anything that I have to say? Because it's, you know, it's just too much of a distraction to go around trying to heal everybody else. I had a good piece of advice I picked up because I work with people in narcissistic and toxic relationships. So I've heard the gamut, you know, of the horrific things that can happen to people. And one of the things I picked up was set a boundary early on when you meet someone and see how they respond to that. So even if it's a small boundary, like I'd like to be home by 6 o'clock tonight, then see how they respond to that boundary before you get too totally over the moon infatuated with them. You know, say, no, we're going to have a couple hurdles to jump over. And the first one will be, I'm going to set a boundary. I want to be home at 6 o'clock tonight. And then you see how they handle that. Do they throw a temper tantrum? Do they bring you home at 6:30? Do they argue with you that, you know, well, that's too early? Do they argue with you that it's too late? How do they handle that boundary setting? And then if that goes well, then you set a stronger boundary. You show a stronger boundary that you have and see how they respond to that. Because respect really needs to be the basis of most of this. If you don't have a relationship with someone who's willing to respect themselves and respect you, then they aren't willing to grow either. But if someone has the ability and the desire to give respect, that's always kind of my glimmer that says, oh, this might go okay. They're willing to respect me, which means that we've got something to work with.
Yeah, I mean, and it's we so often forget that we are all on different journeys here. And we all came to learn way different lessons. Some of us have, big struggles. Some of us have had easier struggles. There's always struggles there, though. And I think as we grow older and we become wiser, hopefully, the struggles become less because we learn, we're learning, we're conditioning ourselves to see the train wreck before we even get on the train and get back off. And I think that we forget that people are on different lessons and different places. It's like, we're all in school, but we're not all in the same grade. And we can't expect, the second grader to understand what the PhD student is going through, or vice versa. And we have to meet them at where they're at. Does that mean we can still have a relationship with them or interact with them? Sure, but it's like you need to discern what level you're at and then what level you want to surround yourself with. Because when you surround yourself with people who are more on your level, then they understand the struggles you're going through and they help you grow. And then when you meet somebody who's at a lower level or a higher level, you get to see like, oh, when I meet somebody who's more advanced than I am, and I get to see like, wow, that's my goal, like to get up and that understanding and have that kind of detachment from the situation and be able to look at the big picture and not get triggered by everything.
Well, I think what happens is we meet people and we don't know who they are. And so we project all sorts of things onto them about who they are. And then we have this huge chemical release around it, all these beta endorphins. And when we go through that, we stop being as authentic. And, we stop showing some of our deeper levels because we feel so excited. We don't want that feeling to end. We don't want this connection to go away. When in reality, we're just projecting onto another person. Kitty wanted to know if boundaries were a little bit like playing a game or manipulation, or that I'm playing with my boundaries. No, my boundaries when I meet somebody new are very clear. It's an information gathering. I'm not setting a boundary I'm setting a boundary to respect myself, and I'm seeing if someone is willing to respect me or not. But I don't make up boundaries just for the fun of it. They're actual authentic things that I'm feeling. Kimberly was saying, and everybody was agreeing with her, how difficult it is to be, how scary it is to be authentic. And
well, yes, but also for me, how incredibly freeing when I don't have to wear a mask, when I don't have to play the charade. What I've learned personally, and this is just me and where I'm at, is that when people know me, just regular Jennie that goes to work and does daily things and has 6 cats and is a crazy cat lady and lives in Wisconsin, and they know that the integrity that I have as that person, when they find out I do psychic work, I have not had a negative reaction. And that's because I've set that boundary to say, if you can take me at this level and you respect me, if I show you the next level, it's the same person. And you ideally, you would still respect me because you know who I am on an integrity level.
And that's the smart thing that you do. You respect yourself enough to know that you don't have to let everybody have everything about you. Authenticity isn't about putting yourself in a position where people have the intention or desire to harm you. Boundaries are about loving and respecting yourself enough to know that you have rights to have an experience or not have an experience. Not everyone's going to agree with the fact that, or like the fact that Jennie's a psychic. But if she walks in there telling everybody that she's a psychic, people will project onto her. They'll come up with all sorts of beliefs and ideas and attitudes around her Jennie gets to say, you know what, I get to decide whether you deserve to have this information about me or not, whether you deserve to have this in your face.
I don't know that deserve is the right phrase.
Okay.
I am making somewhat of a judgment call. I'm not making it on your level.
Oh, you know what? I need to haven around this, because clearly if I use such a triggering word, they don't deserve it.
Right. They don't deserve to know me, who I really am. They're not honored enough to know the site. So.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's that. I think it's more like, some people aren't ready for it. A lot of people aren't ready for it. So let's give you the most normal version of me.
Uh-huh.
And see how you do with that. I mean, I'm a lot to take on a good
day.
So
it's kind. So it's you're being kind by like, I'm not going to overwhelm you.
It's like I'm microdosing people on myself. You have to build up the tolerance to it.
That's a way, because we are powerful women, and all of you, as you go through this stuff, you're going to be seen as more and more and more powerful. And you have to realize the position of power you're going to be in. You're going to be intimidating. You're going to be someone who is comfortable speaking up for themselves and not fitting in with the norm. You're going to find that other people are looking to you as a leader because you're not the one who's freaking out in a crisis. All these things are going to happen where you're going to have more and more people in your life. They're going to be healthier people are going to be attracted to you, but also unhealthy people are going to be attracted to you. They both are. And it's your job to decide which people you want to hang around with and which people you don't. Because if someone isn't a fit for you, it doesn't mean that they're good people or bad people. It just means that for you, it may cause way more dramatic pain and heartache and difficulty than you might want. You might want to do it in smaller doses. You might want to not be with someone who's traumatic because you want to learn things at a slower pace. It doesn't all have to be all at once in some, big blowout or firestorm. So we can make relationships start and develop slowly. And that's the best way, so we can see who the other person actually is.
And I think for us too, we're also testing our own waters. We're also seeing, it's one of the reasons I don't like to write a lot of stuff down, or I'm getting past not writing things down, because my opinion on things changes. And, sometimes when you write stuff down, it may be true for you that day, but 6 months from now, that may not be true. And somebody, it's kind of like, for me, it feels like a past life thing. Like I got busted saying one thing and then having to validate it later when it was no longer true for me. And so it feels like with relationships, a lot of the people I'm friends with personally are very strong, independent women in about 95% of their lives. They, have good jobs. They are able to maintain a house. They have good friendships that are long-time friendships. And then they have like a 5% thing where they let themselves kind of not be in control and no longer.
Yeah, where their life's but it's also a balance. I mean, I like having different types of relationships where the dynamics are all different, so that sometimes I can show this aspect of me, which is,
right,
fairy queen. And then other times I can be, a dominatrix, whatever it may be. But I'm able to express the different sides of me with different people. And that's a lot of fun.
As long as you do it in a healthy way, right?
Yes. You're not kind, healthy.
Yeah, destroying what you've built for yourself in the process by trying to help somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
As long as your mental health and your physical health isn't hurt by it, then yes, then go for it. See what happens with it. See how it turns out.
Mm-hmm. Well, and some of the best things come from, investing something you don't know how it's going to. Some of the best lessons, experiences, fastest growth, and once you're on the other side of the drama, because there's a part, I love drama. I've been living in drama most of my life, internal and around me. And once you get yourself centered, the drama becomes entertaining because you don't feel buffeted about by it anymore. And now you're able to see where the opportunities are because you're looking for the opportunities. And you can make some good shortcuts to the things that you want. You know, if you're centered and grounded and have relationships with people who are more creative or who push some of your buttons more, because when you resolve the emotions that are around that, it's like these funny little, the universe like rewards you for working through your emotional issues by giving you these little gifts of secret doors that you didn't know were right next to you. And you're like, oh, there's a door here. And you're able to get around to the front of the line. I mean, it's really great. So when you use what we've been teaching you, and when you use what you know, and you get balanced like that, and you decide you want to be on a path of growth and evolution, then you are looking for ways to challenge yourself. Not too much, but enough so that life is an adventure versus keeping things safe and not having any stimulation and nothing ever changes. And you're supposed to be taking some risks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that comes up a lot when I do readings. You know, it's like I always say people get homework when I do a reading, because the universe is like, okay, you were doing this, and we're going to give you a little heads up that this might happen. And if you want to handle it best, try doing this. And, you know, we have free will. You don't have to. You can go down whatever path you want. But again, that's like you've been given a shortcut. You've been given a little door here to manage it the easiest. And we're not meant to not have relationships. I mean, I think that's one of the things we've learned from 2020, right? Is that people don't do well when they isolate. Some people enjoy having downtime. I'm one of those people, but I can't stand being at home all the time either. There's got to be a balance. There's got to be a balance in your relationships too. And I always think that, well, I don't want anybody toxic in my life. It's kind of like having a spice. It's nice to be able to taste it a little bit and just see what's out there and be entertained by it, but not think like this is my soulmate, right? Like I am aware it's not, but in the meantime, it's really funny.
Right. And that's the difference between you and me. You know, me, I'm always like, ooh, I love relationships. You know, and I'm always getting to know people of all sorts of personalities and things. And Jenny's a little bit more, no, I think I'll kind of, you know, stay home in my space with my friends. And it's a very different, I love the drama on a certain level.
I don't have the patience for drama.
Yeah.
You know, like I like hearing about other people's drama. Like it's like a TV show, but I don't want to actually act it out.
Because well, I don't want to act it out. I want to be there and hold their space while they're growing, because it's just such a neat experience to be there.
Sure.
Sure it is. Hence why I am the healer and you are the psychic.
And that's the thing, though, that we all have our unique gifts, right? And talents. And I don't have to do what you do to help people. And you don't have to do what I do to help people. And yet together it makes a bigger picture. And that makes a better relationship with people. And it's why you and I have a good relationship, because we appreciate the fact that I don't do massage. I don't do counseling. You don't do psychic readings. So when we get together, we get the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
That's the case with a lot of my friends. You know, I don't do what they do, or they have a great sense of humor and I'm entertained by their stories and they like having an audience or whatever, you know?
Right, exactly.
Those are the kind of relationships for me.
Yes, where they're complementary. And that's what we're looking for. The more you love yourself and the more you accept yourself, then the more you can find those other people that complement you, because you're not constantly reacting from your own unhealed issues. Heal your issues, get your nervous system regulated, take the 7-week program, get a foundation, so that you can regulate.
Right. And then when you do that, that's when you find your tribe, right? That's when you find the people that vibe with you. That's when you find the people that want to grow also, and then push you to grow and show you new things. It's just like me listening to some of these speakers you've had on. And
Great, haven't they?
Getting some information. And it's like, oh, that's cool. Like, I'm interested in that. That's different. I might not follow it or do it or practice it, but it's nice to have that knowledge in my back pocket.
You want to know what I started doing this week, which was powerful, profound, actually probably life-changing for me. I am someone who likes to be comfortable. If given a box of chocolate or asked to walk, for 2 miles, I'll probably eat the chocolate. My husband will walk the 2 miles and then eat the chocolate. But I'll look out the window and eat my chocolate. I'm not going to go for the 2 mile walk if I don't have to. Talking to Tina, she said there's an exercise regimen where you exercise for 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. And you can do that for, she does it for 4 minutes, or you can do it for 2 minutes. I've been doing it for 2 minutes every morning for 2 minutes, and only once a day. I don't do any other exercise. I'm not doing it, although sometimes I ride the bike, but I haven't been for the last few days. If I do something aerobic for 20 seconds on, and then I rest for 10 seconds, and I do that pattern for 2 minutes. So really I'm only exercising like 20, 40, 60. I'm only exercising like a minute and 20 seconds. Yeah. Right, exactly. But which is doable. I can do that. The
chubby girl in me is liking this play. Yeah.
Yes. And I've been doing that, and I've felt the benefits, because you feel them for 24 to 48 hours after the fact of energized and lighter and more balanced, and your nervous system is regulated, all of that. It's been hilarious. I'm like, really, just 2 minutes? So 20 seconds, I'm like jogging in place or doing jumping jacks or touching my toes, and 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes. And I'm like, I'm finally getting the exercise I need in my life, because I finally found the tool that works for me. I can do this. I can do this one. So stuff like that, it changes you.
You would not have met that person or heard that if you weren't paying attention to this.
Yes.
And that's all this is trying to build relationships. And that's a relationship. Like, oh, you've met this person. She was willing to talk in your program, and she gave you something of benefit.
Mm-hmm.
So now you put yourself in a place where you were ready to receive it, and then you got it. And how awesome is that?
Right, exactly. When you're looking for it, then you like a fish in the river, you're looking for the food, assuming that the food's going to appear. Or you're looking for the rock to hide under, assuming the rock's going to appear. And if you just keep looking, the rock's going to be there, or the food's going to be there. You just have to keep looking. And if you do, you'll probably find it. And that's the idea we have to usually think of, is look for what you want, because you'll probably be able to find it because it's out there. But you have to assume you're going to find it, and you have to kind of, sort of actively be looking on some level, even though your subconscious and everything else is taking care of a lot of it.
You have to put the energy out there that you're willing to look for it. And then the thing I would just add to it is but don't expect it to come in any one only particular form. You can't be the fish saying, I want to find a rock, but only if it's black. I will only go under a black rock. That's the only kind of safety I can get, is under a black rock. All you have to say is, I would really like a nice safe space to hide right now. And then see what shows up. Because then you've ultimate possibilities of things that can show up. So you could say,
you're actually addressing your real needs, not the perceived needs that you have.
Not the specific need that you think you need.
Yeah, I found if I'm, it's about when I don't feel good and I start pointing fingers, I'm not addressing the real need. The real need is I don't feel good. For whatever reason, I'm angry, I'm hurt, I'm frustrated, my stomach hurts, my back hurts. I don't feel good. What do I want to do to feel good? It's not about how do I make me feel good. It's about how do I feel good, because, you're doing your own thing, and we've been arguing about this for, 20 years already. So it's not going anywhere. So I have to look for what my needs are.
Right. And then just say, throwing it out there and saying, I want to feel good. Can you give me something that makes me feel good? And then being aware of what you're aware of, what shows up. How does that play into it? How can you, acknowledge it that's, oh, hey, that works. Hey, I want to feel better. Hey, how about we show you how to do exercise in 20 seconds so that you can't even feel guilty about having to spend an hour? And like, all right. What?
Right. Or I don't have to be like, oh God, I don't want to do this. No, I can do it. And then I get excited and then the momentum builds and I've been feeling better day after day after day after day. I mean, it's really kind of neat. It's been neat stuff.
It's weird how that shows up, huh?
Yeah. Huh. So we probably should have to hop off because it's almost been an hour. Belle never showed up, which is okay. But so I'm going to be putting the link when the sales page is done. Corey's going to let me know when the sales page is done. I'll be putting the link up. If you guys want to be part of the 7-week program for free over the next week, you'll be able to go to this other site and then it'll send you to the right page and you can register. It'll start the last week in January. Jennie and me, it'll still have some flexibility to it. It's kind of a beta program. But if you miss out on the week and you still want to be a part of it, we'll be pricing it at $4.99, and which is an awesome deal for the fact that you're actually like really changing your life and becoming a total new version, better version of you, because you're getting instilled how to regulate your nervous system. You're regulating it all the time. Your body naturally wants to go to it. It becomes like a new version of you, a happy, healthy, regulated version, not the crazy, controlling, neurotic, denial, people-pleasing version, which is just you under stress.
Right. With a whole bunch of information at your disposal.
Yes. Okay, so I think that's it. Let's see. This afternoon, we have got, Janae's going to come. She's going to show up at 2 Central Standard Time, and she's going to do a group energy healing and around relationships. And then Kimberly Gurrence, the author, we're going to be talking about how you can adjust your life's narrative. So how you can write a new story for your life. That should be a lot of fun. You know, how you can dream where you want your life to go so that you can start going in that direction. And then, you join the 7-week program and we help you get there. Very, very cool.
Yes. And then we show you a few people who've actually done that and what it looks like.
Yes. And they're happy and well balanced and the world didn't come to an end. And, they're like the millionaires who are next door. Most of the millionaires are people who are quiet. They live in suburban houses. They use their money to support causes they believe in. So healthy, balanced, enlightened people are not, generally telling everybody how happy, balanced, and enlightened they are. They're just living their life. Okay. Right. So it's so possible to get this. You just haven't been hearing about all the happy people. You've been hearing about all the people that are really, really, really messed up. So, realize that it's possible, and then you'll become, someone who nobody really knows about because you're happy and they don't want to focus on that. They want to focus on more of how things will tear you.
Less drama, more happiness.
Less drama, more happiness. Awesome. You're the best, Jennie. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're the best.
Oh. Okay, guys. I will see everybody around 2:00. I'll talk to you later, Jennie.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.